All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar Wednesday series for today. My name is Diane and I will be your facilitator. Later on, I will also be joined by one of my colleagues, Gio Cotas, who will help me complete the entire session halfway through of our 1 hour webinar for today. So again, the title of this webinar is Going Remote, How to Ace Virtual Recruitment. And while we are waiting for some of the participants to join, just wanted to orient you on what's happening right now in your screen. Yes, we are on Zoom, and right now the audio is automatically muted on the side of the participant. But don't worry, anytime you feel that you want to ask questions, share your insights along the way, feel free to drop it in our Q&A portion at the very middle, and chat our facilitators, back-end facilitator, if there are anything that you want to know or you want to understand better. So all of those options is available in your screen at the middle portion. I just wanted to make a quick shout out as well to some of our attendees for today. I'm seeing a lot of colleagues coming from Simpress, NMIS, Point West. Hello, guys. Thank you for joining. Yeah, looking at doing some roll call here. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of colleagues in our talent acquisition space right now. So raise your hand if you are doing talent acquisition. Or maybe if you're doing it all by yourself, from talent acquisition down to talent development and even probably managing succession planning and training. So raise your hand if you're doing it all. Congratulate yourself. Pat on the back for doing a great job. So I'm seeing a lot of people coming in. So again, my name is Diane. I will be your facilitator for today. And while we are not starting yet, I wanted to just quickly highlight that at the end of the session, I will be sending you a survey form and hoping that you give us also a candid feedback on how we fared along the way. And if you are feeling a little bit generous, give us the highest score. Just kidding. Yeah. And in return, we will be drawing some winners for today, giving you access to this book of our CEO, John Austin, CEO of Talagent, The Paradox of Hiring, how to use data to recruit the best talent fast. So again, give us the rating and hopefully you'll be one of the lucky winners to get the e-copy of this book written by John. Okay, so again, some of the questions most of the time being asked, apart from those that are related in the agenda for today, definitely a copy of the webinar recording will be shared to you after, even the presentation slides and some related literature that we will be sharing along the way, so you don't need to manually screenshot or manually record the session. We will be very much generous to provide it to you. And you know what? I'll give you like 3 seconds now. Open another tab, another window, or probably use your phone. Connect like our Talent View account in Facebook, and you will see all the webinar resources that we have done in the past. I believe we've been doing this for 5 solid months already, ever since the start of the lockdown. I am also working remotely at this point. So yes, if you like our website, you will also have access to the previous webinar that we have conducted. We've been talking a lot with regards to talent acquisition, employee engagement and communication, even talent development and succession planning. So hoping that those resources, something that you can just rewatch and pass along to your colleagues or whatever you think that will benefit you and your organization. So definitely like our Talent View Facebook account and you'll get access to this after. So again, so for those who have just joined, today's topic would be going remote and how to ace your virtual recruitment. And just wanted to give you a quick background of who we are. I'm part of the Talent View team. Everything that we do revolves around employer branding. Our tagline is helping organizations get noticed and loved. So a little bit cheesy, but we do understand that if you know who you are as an employer, it's so easy now to be able to identify the candidate that you also want to attract eventually for the positions or for the roles that you are hiring them for. Your employer brand also becomes your filtering tool. So if you say that you are a very innovative, tech savvy type of organization. And of course, you also want your future employees to be the same thing. You have to be able to cascade it out there. And hopefully, Talent View can help you build that strategy, design a program that would ultimately help you find the right candidate for the role, and throw technology to it so that it's become more easier also for both of us when we do this. And we are also a proud partner of the following brands: Workplace by Facebook for your employee engagement and communication requirements, Talagent for your online competency-based need, Digimind and Hootsuite as our social media management and listening platform, Meet and Engage for our virtual online recruitment events. So if you want to conduct career fairs online, we can also definitely help you on this one. And definitely applicant tracking system through our Phoenix ATS partner. So again, automating every stage of the way when you communicate to your talents, from sourcing down to onboarding them. So we've worked with a lot of brands, not only in Manila, but also in Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore. And hoping that by the end of the day, in the next 40 to 50 minutes, I'll be able to share with you some of the practices that we've done for some of these brands out there. Again, my name is Diane. I will be one of the facilitator for today's webinar. I started my career doing assessment. Um, I've helped a lot of organizations right now in identifying not only the tests that you need to administer or to use to deploy eventually, but at the same time being able to identify the right competency skills for the roles that you are assessing them for. So again, along the way, I will be walking you through competencies, what are the best practices, what are the tools that you can use in order for you to get your Superman candidate, if I may say. And later on, of course, Gio will be joining me. A lot of experience also, not only in talent acquisition, but also in employee relation, onboarding, and even learning and development training. So Gio will be happy to be with you also in the middle of the session. Okay, so let's go down to the agenda. Just three activities or three objectives that I want to walk you through. Four stages of an effective virtual recruitment process. What are the most in-demand soft skills and hard skills that you should be looking out for your future talents? And again, some technologies or tools that we are also using and our companies are also using to be able to set you up in your virtual HR requirement. Again, I know for some organization who are already forward thinking or mature in a way, you have all of these technologies with you. Good. Just take whatever you think you can that might be applicable in this webinar. But for those organizations who are still trying to really learn the ropes of setting up your virtual recruitment or HR setup, hoping that this session will also be very much informative on your part. And I just wanted to give you also a preview. I will be mentioning some of the technology partners that we are working with right now. But don't worry, I'm not selling, but it's really a matter of use cases, because these are also effective tools that our clients have been using or have deployed in their own talent acquisition space. So I'm not saying these are the best of the best, but these are just one of the options that you can also consider when you roll out your virtual HR setup, specifically for talent acquisition. Okay, so let's begin. I want to hear from you now. I'll be asking you a quick poll, and just to get a pulse of where you are right now when it comes to hiring. Are you right now continuously hiring? So by this time, you will be seeing a pop-up portion. Yes, we are continuously hiring. Thank you so much for giving our locals some employment opportunity. Good job for you guys. At this point, if you are not hiring because you're in a freeze hire, there's a mandate not to hire at some point by the organization. So that's still good. Let's use this opportunity to improve your processes. And if you are in the process of totally not hiring, maybe I'll take it as positively as we can. Your retention rate is so good, no one is leaving the organization, so you don't need to replace anyone. So yeah, I'll give you probably 10 to 15 seconds while I'll sip a cup of coffee here. All right. Thank you so much for letting us know the answer. I'm glad that 85% of the participants right now are continuously hiring. As I've mentioned to you, we've been doing this webinar since the start of the lockdown, and I think this is an increasing percentage now. We started with like 30%, we are only hiring, and then it increased to 40, 50, 60, and now we are at 85. I think at this point somehow we can say things are going back to, I wouldn't say normal, but somehow your hiring, the processes is again slowly kicking in. For those 15% that are on freeze hire at this point, again, take this opportunity as a way to improve also your processes. I know there's a lot to improve still because this is the first time in our probably role that we go 100% working remotely. So again, take as many as you can in this session, and hoping that when you go back to your office in about an hour, you'll be able to somehow inject some of the practices that you think will be feasible on your part. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. And likewise, I also wanted to share with you some statistics that we got from We Are Social and Hootsuite as our partner. Globally, January 2020, post-pandemic, sorry, Asia Pacific rather, in 2020 alone, our combined population right now is at 4.30 billion. But if you will look at mobile phone connection, 100%, 103% are actually saying they have their mobile phones with them. And 50 to 56% are actively using social media and are present in the internet. So whatever they are doing right now, think of it. If you are creating campaigns to target your future talents, we can probably say that 50 to 56% of them are actually online. Let's look at some of the statistics. That was post-pandemic, rather pre-pandemic. But now, July 2020, we're in the pandemic has really struck globally, the entire world. Total population has increased by 1.1%. In terms of translating that to mobile users, there's an increase to 2.4%. Internet users and active social media users have increased from 8 to 10.5%. So again, I will be showing you later on in terms of number of hours spent in the internet to give you more context of why you need to go digital or why you need to go social when it comes to um, creating or implementing campaigns to attract your future talents. In the Philippines alone, because I'm seeing right now most of our participants, 90% are coming from the Philippines, 108 million population, January 2020. 159% of those, the data would show, would have their own phones with them, or probably for every one Filipino, they have 1 to 2 phones, one probably for personal and one for business related. 67% of them guys are already in the internet and again actively using social. So again, go back, aha moment, time to reflect now. Are you, in terms of strategies, we're not saying to go all out 100% social, right? Because what the data is telling us, 67% of our potential target market are actually online right now. So if you are to divide your recruitment effort, maybe you can say 50 to 60% would be digital, while 40% would probably remain organic or the traditional way of reaching out your talent. So we're not eliminating that possibility. We are just saying that this data can actually help you decide also on where to put your recruitment marketing efforts to reach your target market faster. And I wanted to just share with you our recruitment funnel. I know that in terms of you applying it, you guys are already doing it. But just to give you a simple context on how to make a random check or audit where you are right now, which part of the talent acquisition process you're really good at, and which are the things that you can probably improve on. I wanted to divide it in 4 major stages. First off, I will be discussing talent attraction and sourcing. So initiatives in order for you to get as many talents in your talent pool right now. Because the challenge is that when you are doing your recruitment funnel analysis, and if I ask you what is your application rate percentage right now, I'll give you 3 seconds to think of it. how many do you think you need on your talent pool in order for you to get the right number of potential hires toward the end? So if you are at the 30% funnel, meaning for every one successful hire, you need at least three potential successful candidates to go through it, then that's good. That's the industry battling average. But if you are in the process of 50% to 70%, so meaning for every one successful hire, you need to reach out to five to seven application or talent. So that is the top of the funnel. That is where you are getting all the sources of candidates. And then later on, Gio will be walking us through screening, down to your initial screening, down to selecting, and then of course onboarding your talents virtually. So again, this is the framework that we will follow, and along the way we will just give you some checklists, quick checklists if you guys are currently doing it, or if you're not doing it, again, opportunity for you to somehow reinvent the wheel. So let's go to talent attraction and sourcing. A lot of things that I want to discuss with you, but first question: what roles are critical for the organization right now? So for those 85% of you guys who are hiring, definitely you know what is critical. For those who are not yet hiring on a freeze hire, think of it as a Pareto analysis. So meaning, who are your 20% of the population that brings in 80% of the revenue? I'm not saying the others are not critical, but what I'm saying here is that most of the time, as much as we want to update all the job description, the job requirements, role specification, target profile, competence, skills, criteria, etc., for everyone, it's not doable, especially if right now you're doing it all by yourself. So again, raise your hand if you're just one recruiter handling a lot of talents on a daily basis. But then again, what you can do, the top-down approach, identify first those critical roles in the organization, sit down with the hiring manager, with the line manager, walk them through and ask them, make them champions of what they are looking for the talent, and let them also write with you the competencies, the skills, the criteria that they are looking for a talent, so that when you apply it to your sourcing strategy, you are very on point. You are very straightforward also to what you are looking for right now. And then from that criteria, you will now be able to identify your sourcing channels. May it be you're using job ads, job boards, you're partnering with external providers or recruitment firms to help you get the numbers. If you're doing it all by yourself, recruitment marketing is a new hat that we are all wearing right now. Are you managing your social media ads? Are you boosting it? So you're no longer just posting and praying the next day someone will apply. Now we say post, boost, and then pray. So boosting is critical, especially if you are trying to meet certain number of candidates at a very limited time. So one way for you to do that is to again boost some of your openings, job ads, whether via Facebook, via LinkedIn, or whatever social media partners that you currently have right now. And then, of course, automating the process of communicating with your talents through a sound applicant tracking system, or maybe even a chatbot at the very beginning. So those are the things that I want to walk you through one by one. And again, going back to statistics, according to We Are Social and Hootsuite, July 2020, social media stat for Philippines alone, guys, we spent almost 4 hours of our day using social media. I cannot answer if this is work related, but again, 4 hours in a day using social media. I know that we have also participants coming from Vietnam. You guys are doing well. You are at the worldwide industry average, 2 hours and 22 minutes spent in social media on a daily basis. For our colleagues in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, around 2 hours and 55 minutes, or almost 3 hours spent doing social media or using social media for whatever reason that may be. So again, statistics would show, again, how many efforts should we give ourselves when it comes to reaching our target market via social. Most of the times, our clients would say there is also a peak hour wherein people will actually be using social. Most of the time, if you plan to post job openings and you want to make sure that people are actually on social, make sure that those posting hours would be during their lunch break. Best practice would be hours wherein they're no longer working. So at least you know that they are browsing through their social media and looking for probably job opportunities or whatsoever. So again, check also statistics that would show best time to do your job posting. Brand research, according to study, Vietnam, Philippines, and Malaysia, 59 to 62% are saying that the population right now are also using social media to look out for your brand. So again, I wanted to use this 3-second rule. I want you to again reflect. Are you currently promoting your employer brand, your value proposition to your talents out there? And if you are, can you honestly and candidly say, you know your top 3 employer value proposition? So meaning, when I ask you, why is it good to work at Talent View? Immediately, top of your mind, you'll be able to highlight 3 bullet points immediately of why is it good to work at Talent View. So that's my first aha moment question for you. The next is that, are you currently promoting it and anchoring your strategy, using your employer brand to attract the right talent? So again, circling back to my first slide earlier, your employer brand becomes also a filtering tool for you. Because again, if you are trying to attract talents who you also want to stay longer in the organization, you also want those talents to have somehow similar culture, similar DNA to who you are right now as an organization. So a good example would be, if you say that you are a family-oriented organization, you also may want to attract people who likes to work with a lot of people, who would like to collaborate more often. You don't want probably candidates who like to work in silo, or probably who prefers to work by themselves, because that's not your DNA as an employer right now. So again, circling it back to what the stats is giving us, people right now, especially for those who are actively looking for job opportunities, are also currently reading out what is it out there, what is in your career website, what is it in your Facebook posting, or in your LinkedIn account, or even in your Indeed platform, your Glassdoor review. You have to make sure that your brand is well represented in all of those media or in all of those platforms, because as the data is telling us, more than 50% of the population right now is doing brand research. And the more that they are able to connect with you as an employer, the easier for them to click the apply button, if I may share. Okay. And when in terms of building your candidate journey, I'm sure there's a lot of similarities on the recruitment funnel on what you can see right now. I encourage you to make your candidate journey very simple. Usually we say rule of 7. So meaning 7 steps would be the best way to go when it comes to creating that candidate journey, from the time that they have applied to your career website down to giving them offer or onboarding them. Why do I say that? There is also what we call the metrics and talent acquisition, which talks about recruitment dropout rates or candidate dropout rates. So if they find that your journey is too long along the way, even in the applicant tracking system, if your application form is more than 7 pages already, they won't complete it at all. So again, you have to consider that every stage of the way you might be losing talent. So make it very straightforward. Make it as much as possible simple for your candidates to learn. And I also want to encourage you that along the way, you have to be able to identify what are the competencies, what are the criteria, the skills that you are looking for your talents, in order for you to say that, okay, in this process, in the resume CV screening, I want to look at proficiency when it comes to business communication. So meaning error-free English grammar proof resume that was submitted to you. And then next part, if you deploy them in the initial stage of doing your initial interview, may it be video interview or phone screening, you are measuring communication and maybe presentation skills. So be able to identify those critical competencies along the way. As much as we want to put all the competencies here, I understand that you have your core competency, you have your leadership, you have your technical competencies. Again, we're not looking for a Superman candidate. So best tip here is that, again, rule of seven, identify your 5 to 7 competencies that would be your make or break. So meaning you really need it at this point. It would be difficult if they don't have it at the very beginning. Identify that. Sit down with your line managers in order for you to identify it so that you know more or less what are you looking for at every stage of the way. And later on, Gio will be discussing this in detail. What are the strategies when it comes to using assessment, video interviews, case studies, etc. And yes, definitely something that you can do everything online at this point. We move on to social ads and boosting. This is the time wherein we say you are now wearing your marketing hat. So again, attract, whenever you do your social ads, you know that part wherein if you are a consumer, most of the time you're seeing some pop-up icons in your social media accounts that at some point you're trying to say to yourself, why are this all pop-ups available right now in my screen? I didn't click on it. I didn't even research on it. But those are some informations that your potential candidates are also seeing along the way, especially if you do your social ads and boosting. And with just a little amount using your company's credit card, you can actually do a simple ad boosting, say for example, $10 value. And this $10 can actually help you reach to roughly around 50 to 100 potential candidates. So that way you can also identify the demographics that you want. So if you are only hiring for fresh graduates, candidate with a degree in engineering, or candidates who would write in their social media accounts that their kind of interest would fall into the tech side or into helping other sides. All of those information, once you put it out there, the web can do a lot of tricks in making sure that you are able to reach with the criteria that you have set. So again, whether you are hiring or you wanted to promote your brands, definitely this is one way to become more relevant and to become more visible to your future market or target candidate. So again, raising awareness and using your EVPs to be able to do that. A lot of, and making sure I'm giving you some examples here that everything is mobile friendly, because that is also a critical thing. As much as we want to write as many information about the organization, remember, everything that you put online should also be mobile friendly. If you are asking your candidate to scroll 11 times, they won't be able to resonate and even connect with it. Make sure that whatever you are writing as content is simple, but at the same time relevant in a way that you can easily connect with your talents. And I wanted to share with you another statistics here. Last July 2020, Talent View conducted a what we called employer brand strength report halfway through the year. And we wanted to understand versus quantity versus quality talents. Where are you really getting your talents right now? We've surveyed more than 500 companies right now in Asia Pacific, and we found out that job boards and employee referral are still your top two when it comes to quantity, getting quantity candidates. So meaning if you're volume hiring, this is where you should be going forward. And when it comes to quality candidates, meaning those that are really qualified until the end of the process, still your employee referral and job board will be your top two activities. So again, invest more efforts when it comes to your ERP, and at the same time, partnership with your external job board providers. But what is interesting here, LinkedIn and Facebook are now your top 3 and 4, or even top 5. Last year, LinkedIn and Facebook are actually at the still on top 10, but they are not at the top 5 activities right now when you are getting quantity and quality candidates. So again, I think it really highlights here that at this point, we are really pushed to the wall, saying that our effort should be spent going digital at this point. And again, identifying the right technology tools that you should be needing in order for you to get the right talents. job fair, career fair is still there, don't worry. But maybe one way to innovate it is through a virtual, conducting it online, similar to what we are doing right now. I wanted to also highlight with you our I'm not sure if the video is working, but if it's not working at this point, no worries. Be giving you a link to it. Just wanted to highlight, Indeed is one of the recent partners of Talent View, wherein we were informed that Indeed is not only a job board account, but rather it is a job aggregator. So wondering why you have an Indeed account even though you haven't really opened one yet. But my tip there is to make sure that you claim it so that it becomes a legit company after. When you post something in your career website or in your Facebook, LinkedIn, or in other social media accounts, what Indeed does is that it gets all of this posting and it posts it in the site, and you actually get somehow a free job posting initiative. And if you want to activate like a premium account with them, then that's the time you will only spend a little money in order for you to boost the job openings. But if those job openings right now are really for posting or just for pooling purposes, Indeed can actually help you become one of your sources of potential talents. And if I'm not mistaken, they also have information about the organization. So one way also, again, an assignment for you guys, go to Indeed.com and make sure that your company is also in Indeed. And if yes, make sure that you have all the information about your organization right now via Indeed. In that way, again, it helps you get more talents apart from other sourcing strategies that you are doing right now. It again multiply your efforts in promoting your employer brand, and at the same time help you to source for the next quality talents that you may want to have. According to Hootsuite, I wanted to inject another statistics here. Post-pandemic wise, or if I may say, still within this era that we are all in, 74% increase in entry-level application for job application. Advertising performance, 200% click rate. So meaning when you click on that job role, before it was like less than 100%, but because of this pandemic, it has increased to more than 200% for this company. And social media engagement, 5,500 new conversation generated via chatbot. And when I talk about chatbot, if you are again hiring for more than 100 job openings right now and you are just one person, it's so difficult to go to your Facebook, to go to your LinkedIn just to reply to all of those inquiries, right? So you may just want to throw some technology to it, partner with different recruitment chatbot available right now. With Talent View, our partner is actually the bot platform wherein it's a recruitment bot that we can install in your Facebook account. And all we need to do is to sit down with you, identify your engagement or your communication blueprint, so that every time a candidate would apply, you are able to chat with them without having to be physically present or in front of your laptop. Let the bot do it for you. So if the candidates say here, I want to get started, automatically it gives you a prompt. Hello, welcome to company ABC. We are currently hiring, and then post all your jobs there. And if you want to add a little bit of screening, you can even ask questions like, where do you live, or what background do you currently have, how many years of experience, and all of this information will be populated in your own database, so that if the time comes you want to reach out to your candidates, it's so easy to do it because you're able to communicate to every candidates that you may have. Virtual career fair. So again, I've been saying this a lot of times. So if you are used to having walk-in applicants, and if you're doing a lot of road cascades, going to different campuses at this point, which right now we cannot really do, one way for you to do is, one way that you can probably make use of is similar to what we are doing. Probably you can assign one recruiter or one moderator explaining about who you are as an organization. If you can get your CEO to sit down for 10 to 15 minutes with you to talk about who you are as a company, to encourage application, then I would encourage you to do so. Because again, one way to create a database or pool of candidates is to ensure that you are also visible as much as possible. We have a client right now. We cannot really say who this are, but a really big consulting firm globally, also based in Manila. What they are doing is that on a daily basis, they would open a virtual career fair. There's like a one recruiter assigned in the morning and also in the afternoon. For like 30 minutes, they would just boost the link, the event via social media. And what they would publish there is they don't have any job openings, but if you want to get to know more about company XYZ, our benefits, why is it good to work here, what would be our future direction, they would use virtual career fair as a way to get application or to get email addresses and data from their potential candidates, so that after that their role would be to ensure that all of these candidates are part of their database, and eventually if I have openings in the future, I can just connect with them. So again, utilize whatever tools that you currently have, whether you're using Google Meet, Zoom, MS Teams. Use that in order to reach out to other talents that you may have. Anyway, there's a lot of free technology right now that you can make use of. So wanted to end my portion right now with a statistic from Job Vibe before I turn it over to Gio. Make sure that again, recruiters are saying 58% of them are on social, using social media, not only to reach out to their future talent, but at the same time to promote their employer brand during this challenging time. And I hope that you are somehow doing all your very best effort to also connect with them virtually. So now I'd like to turn it over to Gio to continue the discussion, and hoping that later on I'll be back on the Q&A. So over to you now, Gio.
Right. So thank you so much again, Diane, for that very energetic and informative start. So again, by way of introduction, my name is Gio and I'm currently a senior assessment consultant at TalentView. I'm a registered psychometrician also with more than 4 years of mixed background in terms of the areas of recruitment, onboarding, employee relations, learning and development, and even account management. Right, both from the local and shared services set up. Right, and aside from my full-time employment in TalentView, I'm currently working on my thesis for the completion of my master's degree in industrial relations. So that's pretty much it about myself. Before we start off, right, so I want to know via quick poll, which assessment tools are you currently using for your hiring process? Right. So do you use personality questionnaire? Do you have the cognitive ability tests? Do you also deploy video interview screening, technical or skills tests, live simulation, like case studies and presentations? Or do you still do some face-to-face interview sessions? Right. So I'm giving you seconds to vote. Right, there we have it. So obviously, we got a very interesting mix of answers from the members here. So first, definitely, people here are still using or deploying skills test. So if ever that you're really eyeing to place someone for a very technical position, then definitely a skills test would be the most appropriate way to address that. We also have here 50% for the cognitive ability tests. So these are actually the tests that are usually called the IQ or intelligence test, wherein it measures the general mental ability of your candidate. We also have here personality questionnaires. So mostly these are questionnaires or test batteries that measures the work styles and preferences of your candidate. And we also have here the video interview screening. So again, it's being conducted online because of the pandemic right now. So there, it's obviously very interesting to see all of these mix of the assessment strategies or hiring processes that you have here. All right, so to go ahead, we'll first be bringing screening and measurement to the table. All right, so with our current technological advances or development, looking for a job isn't as difficult as how it was being done back then. So in some very fortunate times, we get, let's say, 3 to 5 qualified candidates or applicants from the 10 or 15 or 20 that we initially assessed. So now the question is, how do we now know who to hire among the five, among the three? So we've listed down here some guide questions to help you build a strong assessment strategy. Right. So first, what are the emerging competencies that are critical to measure for your company? Right. So it's really good, as Diane mentioned, to have an all-around candidate or someone who tops all the assessments that you administered online. But if you don't, this doesn't necessarily mean that your candidates or your applicants are all technically not qualified for the position that they're applying for. So it's really ideal to put weight on competencies that are only critical to the position to help you objectively with your current decision or your decision making. Then we proceed to how do you measure each competencies. So do you ask situational questions leaning to a certain competency? Do you just look at their CV or screen their CV, or you also look at their achievements or credentials? So there. And thirdly, what objective tools can help you gauge the candidate's competencies? So actually, deploying an online occupational assessment tool can help you gauge the talents, job fit, and culture fit. So it's only a matter of where to put this on your process and how to maximize this on top of your assessment processes you currently deploy. All right, and to help you out, we're listing down here the most in-demand soft skills in 2020 according to a LinkedIn study. Right. So firstly, we have creativity. So since our roles evolve from time to time according to the needs of the business, it's good that it's good to know actually that your employees or candidates have these innovative juices. So creativity is not just a needed skill by, let's say, a graphic artist or marketing professionals, but of everyone now. Secondly, we have persuasion. So definitely being influential helps you negotiate successfully. And before, actually, persuasion or this soft skill is only being looked at for a sales position, right? But now, even us in HR are actually expected to be influential, most especially if you're offering a job and going against your top competitors in the industry, right? Then thirdly, we have collaboration. So this is appreciating diversity and being able to work well with others. And I vouch for this, especially at this current situation. In order for organizations to really work well remotely, we have to collaborate even better and more. Right. Fourthly, we have adaptability. So this is being able to accept that nothing's permanent but change. Um, Definitely that goes with open-mindedness and professionalism. And I think adaptability is one of the most being practiced soft skill now in terms of the new normal, right? And lastly, we have emotional intelligence or quotient. So this is your ability to perceive, evaluate, and respond to your own emotions and the emotions of others. So again, this is especially needed if you're in organizational development role and you would want to put harmony within your team. Right, and now we move to the most in-demand hard skills in 2020. So actually, I wouldn't go through one by one, but obviously, these are found in a very technical positions in business intelligence, marketing sales, what else, business management, or even in IT, right? And these are essential in today's workforce, definitely, as companies continue to collect and analyze more data than ever before. And these skills tests or these skills are needed by the workforce to interpret data and to take action on it, definitely to drive more business growth. Right, and now let me help you realize how your organization can benefit from having an online assessment tool. Right, so as we all know, the ways on how we identify the right person for the right role, make fast and informed hiring decisions, and measure employee potential for future roles have never been this pressing. So when we understand the roles and responsibilities of the critical position that we're trying to fill in, it's best to look for ways on how assessment tools can help us. right? And again, from gauging your candidate's general mental ability or the cognitive ability down to understanding their work styles and preferences, these technologies can be depended on. And just to segue again, this is something that I can help you out with. All right, so now how do we start the shift to a more effective way of doing your assessment? So we first deal with the key competency mapping or matching. So online assessment tools now are not just being used for talent acquisition, but also for talent development. So we measure not just what makes them job fit or culture fit, but also how they are a leader fit in our organization. So alignment occurs along the way to make sure that although the terms are slightly or named differently, they are of the same definition. And on the screen, you're also seeing that the company's competencies on the left side and mapping it on the assessments available on the right side. So for example, again, learning agility. It is your ability and enjoyment of learning new skills and information. So as we mentioned here, it can be measured by deploying or administering gamified assessments. So another one there, we have emotional intelligence, which can be measured by personality questionnaires and so on. So technically, it suggests what assessments can be used or should be used to assess a certain competency. And also, one of the benefits of doing competency mapping is that you'd be confident that the person that you hire can do the job excellently, thus you reduce the hiring cost and the time to train them, right? Okay, according to JobVite, 61% of recruiters now are using video as part of their screening process. So during COVID-19, and I believe we shouldn't be surprised if this go even higher, right? Since again, the cases in the Philippines, in terms of the COVID-19 cases, are really high, are really high, or let's say going up. So again, video interviewing, it's actually a salient feature being fronted now by technology partners or providers. So this actually helps us still engage candidates while measuring their how they present themselves and how they formulate their answers. So one of the awesome features of video interviews is that you can either type or key in your questions or upload your own video asking questions. So in a way, it humanizes your online assessment process. So your candidate backend will then be audio and video recorded, and the clips can be easily shared and endorsed to the hiring managers. So technologies like this only need a stable internet connection, and mostly they are compatible with mobile, tablet, or desktop. So just a pro tip, we have to make sure that we orient the line managers on how to use this kind of technologies. Right, and some also do selection using virtual assessment centers. So VAC or Virtual Assessment Centers is a commonly used selection tool that combines different assessment techniques and exercises to help your recruiters test skills that are not easily measurable in other parts of your hiring process. So again, by deploying real job interviews or previews and some job live simulation or virtual live simulations, recruiters and line managers can shortlist candidates more effectively. And likewise, organizations can clearly and easily identify the top potential of your performers. All right, so definitely one of the factors that you need to consider when doing your assessment is the reliability of the procedure. So hiring people based on zodiac sign, are they Leo or Scorpio, for example, won't do good. And also basing it from their age or even their years of education or even the years of experience is totally not helpful at all. So there might not be a tool in the market out there that will predict behaviors or competencies at 100% accuracy, but obviously the closer to 100, the better. So what you can do, as I asked earlier, is to just combine different assessment methods. So let's say you have the cognitive ability assessments that measures, again, the general mental ability of your candidate and have it partnered with, let's say, the personality questionnaire. So partnering it will help you hit close to 100. And this will also make you understand the strength and the areas of development of your candidate. Okay, so how do we now do, or how does virtual assessment center works? So on the screen, we can see that the candidate is given a case study to analyze in a given time frame. Right? And the candidate is being observed by an assessor and a moderator. So when the time is up, another case will be given to him until the candidate reaches the last activity. So technically, virtual assessment centers can help you identify the strength and the gaps on the current profile of your employees via, let's say, goal settings or communication planning, interviewing, or even giving feedback. So VAC, just a pro tip, when you conduct a two-way interview, you have to focus on the competencies that are critical for the role, and you have to prepare the questions ahead for your line managers. Okay, and also it's very important to be asking the right questions during the interview. So one technique that we can make use of is what we call the behavioral interview or event interviewing technique, where questions are specific to employment-related situations. So here, you can probably deploy or do the STAR method, where the interviewee can start discussing certain situation, yung task, action, and the results from the situation, the task, and the action that has happened. Right, and if you're not equipped yet, though, in what to ask during the interview, just a pro tip also, some technologies out in the market are offering interview guide questions for you for your seamless interviewing. So these questions are normally based from how your candidate scored from the assessments you administer, right? And lastly, there. So a great candidate experience is making sure that you have an engaging hiring and virtual onboarding. And this is where your candidates feel more excited or eager to be part of your organization. So although we do things now online, we have to guarantee that the candidates are updated on their medical check or background checks. They are offered the job and are hired on this agreed start date. And come their first day, we have prepared team introduction or virtual new hire onboarding through the following ways. So we can probably have a schedule for a virtual team call, send onboarding files online by Google Drive, MS Clouds, or Dropbox, and schedule a virtual onboarding with other new hire for the new hire not to feel alienated or alone. Right. So to sum up, here are the top 5 tools that can help you adjust to the new virtual setup of HR. Right, so first we have the video interviews that will help you minimize face-to-face interactions with your candidates, thus, of course, following safety protocols. We also have online testing, so that's also proven to be time and cost efficient. Next, we have the applicant tracking system to filter standout candidates and their applications to your organization. Fourth, we have the online onboarding tools that can still make your new hire feel at home, not literally, but in your organization, even virtually. And lastly, so we have the employee collaboration tools, such as Workplace by Facebook, to still be able to create a positive culture amidst working remotely. Right, so again, here are the 4 stages of virtual recruitment program. So first is to have a strong talent attraction and sourcing initiatives to reach your target market. Next is to make sure that they are taking your screening and measurement processes to hit the quality targets that you want. Then we have the selection through making use of the virtual assessment centers to assess their expertise. And lastly, hiring and virtual onboarding to manage their employment expectations. Right, so for my last engagement activity for today, a quick poll also, what are your key strengths in talent acquisition? So is that sourcing, assessment, is that interview, hiring, or onboarding? All right, so I'm seeing no answers yet, but yeah, take your time. Okay, so we're moving now to your poll answers. So there you go. So still, members of the of of our team right now are still doing interviewing, which is also good to definitely assess how your candidates present themselves and their com skills as well, followed by assessment, which is again a standardized and an objective way to also gauge your candidates' potential or competencies, followed by sourcing, hiring, and onboarding. So still we have a very interesting mix of answers from you guys. All right, so to leave you some key points before we finally welcome back Diane. First, great candidate experience is about having an engaging process. So as we mentioned, there is no longer a talent war now, but talents have already won. So we have to make sure that we make them feel valued through engaging them during their applications. Next, their branding. So in a way, showing them the real color of your organization makes them more eager and more excited to join you. Then investing time in reviewing and enhancing your application process, especially at this time, we have to do the shift from the new normal to the now normal. Fourth, providing candidate feedback at all stages is essential. So AKA, as Diane mentioned, no to ghosting. And lastly, predict performance by measuring core capabilities can also help you predict their culture and job fit. Right, and with that, I'm welcoming back Diane to help us answer some questions that you may have for us.
Thank you so much, Gio. So while we are waiting for some of your questions, keep them coming, if I may say. We just wanted to, again, highlight some ending notes before you go. Please be with us last probably 5 minutes. All the resources, copy of the webinar will again be forwarded to you. Don't worry about it. If you think that this session is informative, feel free to share it with your colleagues. Next slide, please, Anna. Again, so we will be giving you a way to also provide feedback to us how we fare during this entire hour session for today. How was your webinar experience? Let us know your thoughts, and later on we will be raffling off the book of our one of our CEO, John Austin, The Paradox of Hiring: How to Use Data to Recruit the Best Talent Fast. And also external sources that you can download. We Are Social, Digital 2020, all the statistics that we have shown earlier can be found in this website. The skills company need the most in 2020 by LinkedIn, as shared by Gio earlier. And of course, some statistics that came from Job Vibe. So while we are waiting, I'm going to check now our Q&A portion and chat box. I guess we have one question right now. How fast can we roll out? Maybe Gio, you may want to answer this. How fast can we roll out a virtual recruitment program?
Right, so it actually depends on your timeline, Diane, or their timeline, right? So if ever that you really have established process in your organization, then we just have to sort of audit it or to look at it very closely and see which among your current processes are still effective in some way. And definitely, if there are some processes that we see, as we say, very challenging at this point, then we can look at that and have it improved.
I would echo the same thing with what Gio shared with us. I think in terms of timeline, you have the really ability to predict when you want to roll it out. But first things first, conduct an audit of what you currently have, whether competencies, job description, technologies and tools that you are using or you wish to deploy. And if you're able to have a run through of all those information, then you can now work on your timeline or your Gantt chart whenever you want to launch the virtual recruitment. And I guess
Right.
we're already doing it at some point. It's just that now it has been highlighted because of the pandemic. Another question,
Correct.
should we review competencies per role since we are on a virtual setup? I guess I can answer this part. Definitely, we encourage you to do so. Similar to reviewing tools and technologies you currently have, reviewing the role requirements, the job description, the target profile, or who you want to have as a future talent is a must for all roles. But then again, if you don't have the luxury of time in doing it for everything, try to work on the critical ones first. And what really works well with other clients that we are working with right now is that we create champions internally. So it shouldn't be just the role of the recruiter or the manager or the HR team to do the writing of all the competencies and the job description. We have to also teach our line managers to be able to describe the role, because at the end of the day, they will be the best subject matter experts in doing so. So you don't have to take it all just you doing everything. You have to ensure that you also empower your line managers to do the same thing.
Right. So then I'm also seeing a question for me here. So it asks, most recruiters do not provide feedback when they reject candidates due to time constraints. So can this be automated via virtual recruitment also? So definitely one of the saddest reality in HR now is, being bombarded or being accused by applicants that they are not giving feedback. But if ever that it's really a challenge for you, then my answer for that is most virtual recruitment tools out in the market acts as your scheduler or organizer for its admin. So from the application up to job offer, this can be automated. And actually, this is a feature mostly available in the applicant tracking systems. So you can automate your communication to your candidates in every step of their application.
Yeah. And I would also say, Gio, most of us are still doing the manomatic approach, manual and automatic approach. So meaning getting all those information in our forms, maybe Google Forms, MS Forms, downloading it to Excel file. Excel will not fail us. And then from Excel, we run pivot or we run whatever data that we want. So I think it's still working at some point, especially if you are just processing a handful of candidates. But if you are on an enterprise level, we would really recommend getting an applicant tracking system to automate the comms. So while we're still waiting, so just wanted to flash now the poll for our webinar experience. And yeah, just fire away. Let us know how we fare. If you're feeling good, do give us the highest rating as much as possible, and hope to see you again in our next webinar runs. A quick shout out also to some of our colleagues here. Hello, Naz. I know I
Yo.
owe you something. I will send definitely an email after this webinar. I'm seeing also JC. Jans, hello there.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon
Hello,
and happy lunch.
everyone. Happy lunch. We're down to last few slides. Don't worry. We'll let you go in a few minutes.
Okay, I'm seeing another question here, Diane. So just to address, it's since it's directed to me. So do you have templates we can share to our hiring managers? So also one of salient features of some assessment tools out there in the market now, they offer some interview guide questions also for the hiring managers, and also alongside with it, it comes with a hiring manager report. So we do understand that some hiring managers may not be that equipped enough in terms of asking the right questions to the candidate during the interview session. Most of them would still ask some theoretical questions in a way which are not really related to the job that the applicant is applying for. So yes, we do offer templates, and those are readily and automatically available when you're generating reports for some online assessment tools out there.
Definitely. And just wanted to plug again, guys. We want to connect with you, continue the discussion after. Feel free to grab your phone, open your camera, and yeah, just connect with us through our QR code and we can continue the discussion later on. And again, some of the information about Talent View, you can like us on LinkedIn, Facebook, follow us on Facebook to know more about our upcoming webinars and session. And I hope that we'll see you again the following Wednesday for another topic that we will be launching to help us share also best practice specifically for talent acquisition and talent development. So I guess that's just about it. Just quickly looking at the Q&A. Thank you so much also Maria for staying with us and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye everyone.
Keep safe, everyone. Bye bye.